Hey guys, it's Jamie again, and I am going to share today my supply cabinet. So if you don't know me, I've recently started the channel because I have a pineal gland cystic brain tumor, and it's a very rare brain tumor on the brain stem. I'm going to be having it removed soon. And I also have chronic pancreatitis from a birth defect of my pancreatic ducts, so fun stuff. So because of the chronic pancreatitis, I have chronic dehydration and issues of pain and nausea and eating and all kinds of wonderful things. And so I have sorry if this looks weird, but I have a port in my chest where I give myself home hydration and medications as needed. And it's been amazing because it allows me to still be able to work and lead a semi-normal life. And now having the brain tumor, it's even more beneficial because this brain tumor has increased my nausea and just has a lot more symptoms with it that I'll talk about probably in another video just about the brain tumor, to go over some very specific things about it. I'm still waiting on my surgery date because the surgeon has to coordinate that along with his office manager, and my husband is going to be going to Saudi Arabia. So he gets back first week of October. And so once he comes back, hopefully that week we'll be having my surgery. And my son Connor, his birthday's October 9th. So hopefully it's on his birthday. I'd hate for that to be his birthday present, but I just wanted to show you. Because have you ever heard of, what are they called? They're called I Heart Guts pillows. These are amazing, and no, this is not sponsored at all, but I Heart Guts makes the cutest things. And so we had got me a pancreas pillow a long time ago. Actually, a friend sent this to me, and my husband and I always joke and say, wish my pancreas really looked this good, because I have these tiny nasty little ducts, and this has this big beautiful duct on it. But so there's my pancreas. But today, guess what I got? I got a brain and his eyes, and he's huge. I wish my brain was this big, but I now have my brain and my pancreas. So whatever organs you have, go to I Heart Guts, and yeah, you can get your organ replacement. I'm gonna ask the surgeon if maybe he can give me a little bit more when he takes out the other. Anyway, they're really soft and squishy, and this one is good because when I have pancreatic pain, actually there is a acupressure spot right here, just to the left of the bottom of the xiphoid process on your sternum. That is actually a good pressure point to apply to help relieve pancreatic pain. And so a lot of times I can really just get some good pressure going there. And now I guess I'm going to be using this guy to help me chill after they cut open the back of my skull. Yeah, it's going to be a nice incision back here. But anyway, I wanted to show you my setup because I've gone through carts and different things, but because I have home IV infusion, it's important to keep things very organized. You can't see it, but on the very top of my shelf is my sharps container. So any sharp needles, once they're used, they go into that. Once that's full, it gets sealed and it gets sent off so that it's safely disposed of and no one gets exposed to my germs. But anyway, on my bookcase, I have two shelves that are dedicated just to medical supplies. And these are my baskets that contain mostly syringes. And so when you have a port, you have to maintain its patency by flushing it with saline, and then you put heparin solution in it that keeps it from forming clots in it and becoming occluded. And with the kind of port I have, it's called a barred power port. You only need to do that like once a month. And actually, I think they say now you don't even have to put heparin in them, but I do because I've had two prior ports. This is my third one, and one of them clotted. We could not get it unclotted. And I've had issues with clotting around PICC lines where they insert a central line through your arm, and having a deep vein thrombosis from that with a clot going to my lung. So we don't play around with the fact that I like to clot things. So I actually flush mine daily and heparinize it daily, which is overkill, but it's what I have to do. Water. not vodka, I promise. Pancreas, no. Okay, so this is where I keep those supplies, and what I have here is I have my saline syringes. They're sterile, they're individually wrapped and pre-filled. I just have to get the air out of them, because if you saw my video from yesterday, any air introduced into this line is implanted into my chest. There's actually a needle that's stuck in it right now, but it's actually the port is implanted in my chest under the skin, and it's threaded into the superior vena cava inside my chest, which ends just above the heart. Any air introduced can make an air bubble go to your heart, so you have to be very careful. And also any contamination can send bacteria straight to the heart, so it's high risk for infection if you are not very, very strict with your sterility. But anyway, so I have my pre-filled syringes in here, and then I have some blank syringes. I call them blanks, but that just means they're empty. When I draw up medications, sometimes the vial I'm drawing up, I'm actually only going to be taking half of the dose of medication that's in that vial. So I'll pre-draw it in one of these, and then I can see exactly how much to inject into and mix with my saline, so that I only get half of the dose that's in the vial that's supposed to be my actual dose. Does that make any sense to anybody but me? I don't know. Anyway, so that stays there. This is all heparin. So these, you can tell they're a different color. They're yellow. So the saline, clear with a white cap, and heparin, very well labeled to let you know that this is a heparin solution. It's a blood thinner, okay? All right. And I have this little gadget. I love this. I got this at the Container Store. Actually, you can go buy baskets at the Container Store too. No, they're not sponsored. They need to pay me, but these screw together like one on top of the other, so they're really neat little gadgets. These are my alcohol caps, and the alcohol caps are very important when the line is not in use, that there always be, sorry about digging in my shirt, there has to be an alcohol cap on the end of each of the port entrances. These are both alcohol caps. They just different manufacturers, different colors, but it helps keep bacteria from entering my line when I'm not in use. And the bottom cap has what I call claves, and I'm almost out and I need to reorder these. And these are little adapters, again, that these are the very tips of these, and I change them out every time I change the lines. Actually, every time I use the line. And the line gets changed frequently. Okay, down on the bottom shelf, these are extra empty blank syringes. What is not in here, and what is normally in this basket, is my IV fluids. So when they get delivered every week, I get a bag with 4 giant IV liter bags of fluid of what's called a quarter NS. And the pharmacy goes ahead and removes all extra air out of the bag for me, so there's no risk of me getting an air embolus into my body. So I'll take those out of they'll bring them into me in a big cardboard. I get so many cardboard boxes every week. So I get my cardboard box and empty it with my supplies, and I'll take my 4 bags of fluid and I put them in here, and they just hang out in my room until I'm ready to use them. Okay, so underneath that, this is the coolest container. Once again, I got this at the Container Store, and I love that place. So this thing they have these containers you can buy where you can buy inserts that go inside, all different shapes and sizes, and you can put in as many or as little as you want in here and separate things. So in here I have my central line dressing kits. This has all the supplies every time the nurse comes out, and we change out my access. This is what we use, and everything is done with a mask on. It's done totally sterile with sterile gloves. Everything is prepped. Nobody's allowed to touch it. No animals are allowed in the room. It's extremely sterile technique when we do this. We put on a what's called a bio patch. Once the needle is inserted, see if I can find a bio patch. I have one in here, just like, there it is. Once the needle is inserted, this little bio patch goes kind of underneath against the skin, between the skin and the needle, and it constantly is a antibacterial barrier to keep the needle from getting anything allowing into your body. And then a big sterile dressing is applied. And I'll give you a close-up of my port here in a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. What else do I have in here? IV tubing. That's just a little extra one. It's actually in the wrong place. IV tubing for a central line has to have an air filter on it so you don't get an air embolus. The IV tubing they normally sent me was, I had it included in it, and this last shipment, they were out of that. So now I have to add an air filter to my IV tubing every time I put on new IV tubing. And I put the IV tubing on only when I'm infusing a bag of fluid, which I did on my video yesterday. And then I take all that off and throw it away and just leave this, which will be coming out. And then it'll get changed for the next round. Okay. Oh, I found a couple of claves. Oh, I'm so excited because I really needed those. Let me pull those out. And these are just some extra, you know, I have like tape and gauze and just crazy things like that. And these are little extra pigtails. They keep sending me these and I don't know why. If anybody needs some extra pigtails, let me know. But anyway, and these are just some extra little tubing things. I have extra tegaderms, and these are the sterile dressings. So even though the outside is not sterile, once you peel this apart, the inside of this clear film is sterile, and you can change your dressing. So if it starts peeling up, I never remove a sterile dressing unless I'm going to take it completely down with sterile gloves on, mask on, totally prep it clean and everything. If I have a dressing peeling, I'm either going to just tape around the edge, or I'm going to just reinforce this over the existing dressing. But you're not going to just peel off a dressing and stick one of these on without doing total sterile technique. You're asking for trouble. You can never be too sterile with a central line, and I cannot express that enough. Oh my God, do you hear my line guy? This wonderful gentleman who helps us out. He's out there mowing, weed eating, and that's probably all you can hear right now. And then what else do I have in here? I have my needles. I have a barred power port, so I have barred power port needles. Now, these needles are very special needles and probably cost a gazillion dollars. I don't know what barred charges for them. But I can use any type of what's called a Huber needle, and a Huber needle is a bent needle. And I can use any kind of those in my port, no problem. But those other types of needles are not MRI compatible. And if you know anything about MRIs, an MRI is a giant magnet. So any metal that's not specially made to go in there will suck onto the magnet. So if it's sitting in my chest and I go into the magnet, pull it out of my chest and rip out my IV. And because of my pancreatitis and because of the brain tumor, I get frequent MRIs. For the pancreatitis, I get what's called MRCPs, which are specialized MRI that looks very specifically at the pancreatic ducts and the structure of the pancreas. And then for this brain tumor, I've been getting wonderful head, neck, upper neck MRIs to look at spinal fluid and tumor growth and all that. So we've only been using the MRI compatible needles lately, so that spur of the moment, Jamie's brain decides to do something weird, or pancreas, I'm ready to go in an MRI scanner. So that's what these all are. And I have a bunch of them in here, which is great. So that's what's in this little box. Isn't it fantastic? It's so well organized now. You keep the lid on that to keep all germies out of it. Next to that, I have this great little container, and it is nothing but alcohol swabs. You can never, everybody repeat it with me, be too sterile with a central line. I don't touch anything on this. Nothing gets connected. Nothing gets done to it, injection wise or anything, without a thorough cleaning with alcohol. And once a day, I even take, you're probably tired of me digging in my shirt, I know. Once a day, I even take an alcohol swab and then clean the entire tubing all the way up and down and keep it very clean. Okay. Bottom box is my medication box. And my medications come pre-packaged. They have the dose and all that stuff written on them. They'll come with a needle and a syringe to mix them. They'll come with gloves. They'll come with alcohol wipes. Again, can never be too sterile. These aren't sterile gloves, but you always still clean your hands with alcohol cleaner. You still wear gloves. You still clean things. You know, I don't always, honestly, I don't always wear a pair of gloves because this is not a sterile technique. But I do clean my hands and I do clean everything first. The vial of medication is in here. And like I said, sometimes that is more than what I actually need, because this medication is a pain medication that is a non-opioid pain medication. Let me stress that. Don't come rob my house. I do not have IV opioid pain medicine in my house. I do not keep it. This is a non-opioid pain medicine, and it I only take half of the dose of what's in this vial. So, and this one, I only have one of those left. And then this is my nausea medicine. And same thing with it. And it is not a controlled substance either. So I have no IV controlled substances in my home. And I'll stress that. There are people who will actually see people and be like, oh, I'm going to go to their house and rob them because they have these drugs there. No, I don't. So don't even bother. I mean, basically you're going to get strong ibuprofen and Tylenol if you come here, and a non-sedating nausea medicine. So, nothing exciting here. You can get stronger stuff at your local pharmacy, but it's just, I say that. I mean, the doses they give me are IV, and so it is stronger, but it's not something that like it's not addicting. It's not, you don't get high from it. It's not anything worth robbing somebody's house over. We'll put that out there. Okay, also on my shelf here, I have my IMLA bag. Okay, sticking a needle in your chest hurts, and I don't care what anybody says, it freaking hurts, or I'm a wimp. But before I got the port, I would sometimes get stuck as many times as I think one time I got stuck like 26 times, and that included feet, shins, everywhere, neck, didn't matter, I couldn't get an IV in me. So I have a pretty big phobia of needles, and we're talking people with ultrasounds, anesthesia, people just not being able to get an IV in me. So I have what I call my goodie bag here. This is fantastic. These are my Aqua Guards. Aqua Guards are, you can put these over. They have little strips that peel, and I don't know if I've showed y'all these in the past, but they peel and they go over your sterile dressing. They completely cover it. So when you bathe or shower, you can cover up all the stuff. And the good thing about them is you don't submerge them in water. You can't go swim with them or something, but they will keep water from splashing. So if you're taking a bath, you keep the water level down below. But if some water happens to splash up, it'll protect it. Or if you want to shower and you keep the shower spray hitting you below the waist or onto your back, but if a little spray's on it, then it's not going to hurt anything. Obviously, if any water gets inside that, it's no longer and penetrates your dressing. Nothing is sterile. Everything needs to come off and be thrown away, including the needle out of your chest. Gone. So sterility is a big key. IMLA. This is a numbing cream. The longer you leave it on, the better it works. They recommend an hour, but if you actually read it on their website, it'll say 2 to 3 hours is the best, and it is. You have to cover it, once you put a thick film of it on over the skin where they're going to be sticking your needle, it takes a while to penetrate, and heat makes it penetrate better. So what you can do is cover it with plastic. And the way in the hospital they recommend it is that you take a Tegaderm, one of those dressings, and cover it with one of those. Well, that's great, except who has those handy all the time? And they're expensive. So somebody turned me onto this, and it is amazing, and it works. I'm glad Preston's ill, because this isn't sterile. At this point, when you're getting ready to get stuck, your port is under your skin. There's nothing open, and I'll have to show it to you when I pull this one out. And I'll do that after I do my next infusion, and I'll do a video and show y'all what it looks like out, and maybe I can convince my nurse to let me video her actually doing the actual procedure. We'll see about that. I won't be able to show her face, but at least we can video her sticking me. Anyway, but while everything's out and there's no risk of any infection, I put the IMLA on, and then I take the press and seal and cut me a square that's about the size of this, and then I just press and seal it around, and it holds my IMLA in place, and the heat penetrates, the plastic holds the heat in, and then I usually leave mine on 2.5 hours before she gets here and make sure I'm good and numb. You see, I don't have this in every second of every day. I take it out when I don't need it. So if I need it, it stays in. If I don't need it, yeah, I'll pull it out and go swim or whatever, you know? And then we put it back in. Okay, so, and yes, I can stick myself if I needed to. I have been sticking people's ports for almost 30 years as a nurse. But I'm a big chicken about sticking myself, so I haven't done it to myself yet. My husband is being trained, and we're getting there. Okay, box of gloves. I'm always gonna have gloves. And that's it, guys. Oh, there is one more thing. So y'all saw my pump yesterday, and it's sitting over on the shelf. So I have this little pump that's amazing. And I had a backpack. So this backpack is great. It's a medical backpack. It actually has a little hook in here. My IV bag can hook onto. We strap the bag in, strap it all in, run the tubing over, and then right here some little straps, and we can actually put my pump right over here and strap it in, and then close my backpack. And then what's really cool is that there's a Velcro flap on the front so that I can open it and I can work the controls to my pump through this plastic film without having to undo the backpack every time I want to change pump settings. So this I can just throw on if I'm going to be going out somewhere or doing something or traveling. It's fantastic. So I'm not stuck sitting here at home if I have the IV fluids. I can go and do whatever I want to do. But anyway, I hope that helps some of you. I know that some of the people who are subscribing to my channel are in one of my pancreatitis support groups. Hi, everybody. They know I love them dearly. They are an amazing group of people and amazing supporters. It's called Pancreatitis Survivors. If you are a pancreatitis patient, go to Facebook and join Pancreatitis Survivors because it's an amazing group of people. But a lot of people ask me like about setups, ports. Many people in our group, unfortunately, are getting to the point where they're needing, the port. And so, yeah, so this is how I do it. This is how I arrange it. You just gotta play with it and figure out what's gonna work best for you. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry this one was so long. My brain is actually starting to hurt some. So I am going to eat my soup. Today is a soup day. We had this funny thing. I actually had some fish for lunch, some baked fish, and my pancreas is done. So it'll be soup for dinner. So I'm gonna go eat some soup and drink my protein shake and take my pancreatic enzymes and digest that protein and then lay down. It's gonna be movie day. One thing when you have a chronic illness, always, always, always be good to yourself. I used to try to do everything and think that I needed to just go, go, go. And it's very hard, and I will definitely do a video on this and maybe include my husband in part of it. Our disease is very hard on our caregivers, very hard. Their lives change too. And we have to be able to accept the changes within our lives as well. And it can be rough when you say, I can no longer eat fried chicken every day, or, the fact that I know by 3 p.m. almost every day, I have to just give up and go lay in bed, turn on a movie, read a book. I read a lot, do projects, and I'll show you that one day. I have a whole project station set up where I do all sorts of like diamond painting and all kinds of crafts and stuff in my bed. And you have to set up a space for yourself where even though you may be confined to bed, you still have your special space that makes you feel good about yourself, and that you have special things for yourself and you do special things for yourself. And it's just very important. So everybody, thank you for joining in today. Hashtag check your brain if you have any brain symptoms. Hashtag check your pancreas if you have any pancreas symptoms. And join these support groups, because support groups are amazing. But I will tell you this, there are some support groups, you have to really weed through them, that really give out some really bad advice. And you just have to really do some self-education and make sure that check into what people are telling you, because some people can tell you some really crazy things. But pancreatitis survivors, you're going to get good advice on there. So I will recommend that highly. So everybody have a good day. I'm going to take my brain and my pancreas, and we're going to eat some soup and go to bed. Bye, everybody.